You know that awkward moment when something you thought was handled, finished, solved, buried, suddenly shows up again, like it never got the memo? Yeah, that's measles. A disease we literally eliminated in multiple countries is now back, spreading efficiently and reminding us that biology doesn't care about our confidence, opinions, or social media posts. So today, let's slow this down and actually understand what measles is, how it works, why it's dangerous, and why doing nothing is not the brave, natural alternative some people think it is. No hysteria, no lectures, just reality. First, what measles actually is. Measles is not just a rash. The rash is just the announcement. Measles is a viral infection caused by the measles virus, a respiratory virus that enters through your nose or mouth, hijacks your immune system, and then takes a full body tour. It doesn't politely stay in one place. It spreads through your bloodstream, hits your lungs, your immune cells, your brain in rare cases, and then shows itself on the skin. So when people say, "Oh, it's just a childhood illness," what they really mean is, "I'm describing the symptoms, not the process." And that distinction matters. Why measles spreads like wildfire. Measles is airborne. Not droplets fall to the ground airborne. Not you have to be close airborne. Real airborne. If someone with measles coughs in a room, the virus can hang in the air for up to 2 hours after they leave. Meaning, you don't have to touch them. You don't have to talk to them. You don't even have to be there at the same time. You can walk into the room later and still get infected. That's why measles has one of the highest transmission rates of any human disease. If you're not immune and you're exposed, the odds are not in your favor. This isn't a moral failing. It's physics and biology. What infection actually looks like. Measles doesn't start dramatically. It starts boring. You get fever, cough, runny nose, red irritated eyes. Basically, it looks like a miserable cold that refuses to leave. Then, after several days, the fever spikes and the rash appears. Usually on the face first, then it spreads downward. That's when people finally realize, oh, this is not just a cold. But here's the problem. You're contagious before the rash appears, which means by the time anyone knows what's happening, the virus has already had a head start. Who's most at risk and why this isn't evenly distributed? Measles doesn't hit everyone equally. The highest risk groups are young children, adults over 30, pregnant women, people with weakened immune systems, people who are malnourished or vitamin A deficient. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Healthy, vaccinated adults are usually fine, but outbreaks don't stay neatly contained within healthy adults. They spread outward to people who can't be vaccinated yet, can't be vaccinated safely, or didn't get full protection because coverage around them dropped. This is why measles isn't just an individual choice issue. It's a network problem. Complications. Where measles stops being theoretical. This is where people mentally check out. So don't, because this is the part that matters. Measles can cause pneumonia, which is the most common cause of measles-related death, brain inflammation that can lead to seizures or permanent damage, severe dehydration, blindness, and in rare cases, a delayed neurological condition that appears years later, and is almost always fatal. There is no magic pill that fixes this once it happens. Treatment is supportive. Manage symptoms, treat complications, hope the immune system recovers cleanly, which is not the same thing as low risk. Natural immunity and the fantasy of doing nothing. Let's address this gently and clearly. Yes, if you survive measles, you gain immunity. You also risk hospitalization, risk long-term complications, risk infecting people who didn't get to choose. That's not resilience. That's gambling with other people's health. And here's a twist most people don't know. Measles can erase immune memory. After infection, your immune system may temporarily forget how to fight other diseases it previously recognized, leaving you more vulnerable to infections for months afterward. So measles doesn't just knock you down. It loosens the bolts on your immune system while it's at it. Vaccines, what they do and what they don't. The measles vaccine doesn't overstimulate the immune system. It trains it. 1 dose gives strong protection. 2 doses give near maximal protection. Side effects? Usually mild. Sore arm, low fever, brief rash. Serious adverse events are rare, far rarer than the complications of actual measles infection. This isn't propaganda. It's comparative risk. No medical intervention is zero risk, but pretending that doing nothing is risk-free is fantasy.
So why is measles back? Because measles exploits gaps. Missed vaccinations, disrupted healthcare, misinformation spreading faster than viruses, communities where coverage drops just enough for the virus to squeeze through. Measles doesn't care why immunity dropped. It just notices that it did, then invades. What actually stops outbreaks? Not outrage, not arguing online, not pretending this is someone else's problem. What works? High vaccination coverage, fast outbreak response, honest communication, easy access to care, and protecting people who don't have the luxury of personal risk decisions. Think globally, because viruses travel. Act locally, because outbreaks start in specific places. Or flip it. Think locally, protect your community. Act globally, because measles doesn't need a passport. Final thought. Measles isn't a mystery. It's not new, and it's not subtle. It's a reminder that public health only works when enough people participate, and that nature always takes advantage of complacency. We already know how to stop this disease. The question isn't can we, it's whether we'll choose to, before measles teaches the lesson again. Until next time, thank you for watching.